everybody, Ryan Medora here, and I am back with another bass lesson for you. And today we are going to be talking about groove creation, because so many people ask how do you come up with ideas? How do you create grooves? And what do you do when you're going to play with a drummer? When you get together and jam with people for the first time or for the 700th time, it's kind of your responsibility to be able to come up with some stuff to play. And that can be a challenging thing. So hopefully this will kind of demystify some of that for you. And if you want to get tab notation, other things to coincide with this lesson, please head over to either my Patreon page or my TrueFlyer channel. You can support there. There's other fun goodies at ryanmedora.com. But if you dig this, please subscribe to the channel and be here for more bass lessons. But for now, let's just dig in and talk about creating some grooves. So what I like to do whenever I'm creating a groove is consider what I call my prompts. And usually it's good to have a rhythmic prompt, meaning either a tempo or a beat or a drum groove that you're playing to, or a harmonic prompt, which is kind of where you're playing. Are we playing in the key of G? Are we playing in the key of E minor? Are we playing in B flat? Who knows? And sometimes you just need to provide that for yourself if you're just playing bass to some drums. So for today, I'm going to be playing with the E minor mindset, and I'm really just going to use two notes. I'm going to use my root note, E, and then I'm going to use my minor seventh, which is D, just a whole step below. So here's kind of my tonic, my beginning note, and I'm going to just play between these two, E and D. Now, there's actually a lot you can do just playing between two notes, and it really depends upon how you're going to interact with that beat that you have. If you're playing with a metronome, you kind of have this internal drummer in your head. You'll put it on and say, oh, I'll put my metronome on 100 at a 4/4 time and play along with that. Or you just pull up a drum groove. For this lesson, I am using a thing made by my good friend Derek Phillips. He's got this pack called Beatbox, which is super cool. He and I also did the 12 Bar Blues Survival Guide together. But his grooves are really great in terms of inspiration and just fun to play along to. So this particular groove, I like to sit down and listen to it first. Whether or not you're going to come up with something cool and something that fits well is dependent upon how much information you're reacting to when you are listening to what somebody's playing. So the first thing I will do before I play a single note is listen to the groove that's being played, because that's really going to tell me what's happening. And I'm going to zone in and think okay, am I getting a hi-hat groove? Am I getting a strong snare hit? Where's the kick drum hitting? And I'll try to listen to different parts of the drum kit, and particularly to the kick drum. Now, with bass playing, there are different theories of you marry the kick drum or you don't marry the kick drum. And the true, real answer to this question is, it depends. It depends. Sometimes some grooves you do want to marry the kick drum and you want to mimic what they're doing rhythmically. Other times you don't want to. Maybe you play something complementary, or maybe you play some of the notes with the kick drum. It depends. I can't stress that enough. There is no singular rule. It depends. In this type of situation, I do like to marry the kick drum. I want to get inspiration. I want to try to find something that will complement it, that will interact well with it. And so if I hear the kick drum go boom, boom, or one and right at the top of the bar, I'm going to use that and I'm going to play to that. So maybe I'll start my groove by just matching that and letting space live. And every time it comes around, I'm going to try to hit that with the kick drum. I'm just playing E's, same rhythm as the kick drum. And then I'll throw in my D. And then I'll throw in dead notes. And maybe I'll add a little stutter, add a little quick back and forth, but you can kind of see how the initial groove that I create is marrying that kick drum at the top of the bar because I hear a particular rhythmic framework, and then kind of coming up with an interesting way to move back and forth between the two notes, sometimes doubling or playing 2 or 3 or 4 attacks on one note, or sometimes doing a little sandwich where I'm going kind of something like that. And the fact is that you can create all different rhythms and all different types of grooves with just 2 notes, and by getting creative with how you move between those. So general fun rules that we've kind of established today for improvising a groove is: 1, come up with like a harmonic prompt, meaning like, hey, I'm playing in E minor, I'm going to use these couple of notes. 2, listen to the drums. This is your rhythmic prompt. They're giving you a tempo, they're giving you a feel, they're giving you a rhythmic structure. And then 3, kind of like figuring out how you want to live when you interact with that drum kit, whether you're going to fully marry what the kick drum is doing, or if you're going to complement it, or if you're going to lay off certain notes. And then I also like to try to listen to a groove and get familiar with, maybe the drummer places a fill here, maybe I play a fill here. There's this back and forth between the space that you have and what the other players occupy. So listening is so important when it comes to coming up with ideas and interacting with other players. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope that this becomes something that you can take into your practice in terms of your own groove creation, so that when you get together and you play with people, or even if you're just jamming along with some tracks, you have some good ideas in terms of how to get started. So I hope you dug this. Again, check out my Patreon page or my TrueFire channel or my website, and happy practicing, everybody. Keep it groovy.